Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 17 of 28 Days to a New Consciousness. And we begin, of course, right now, here live on the Awaken the World page. And it is February 17th, of course. Beautiful Sunday. Good morning, and good morning, Terry, and good morning, Susan. Oh, another glorious morning indeed. You know, I was, where did I put it? I don't know if this will actually work, but I was out this morning intentionally. It's early Sunday morning, and I wanted to listen to some of the birds that we get first thing in the morning out here. And we're going to talk about this today, but I'm just going to give one of the recordings a little play and see how it works out here. See if you can hear it. It's hard to get all the audio out of that, and I haven't worked with it yet, but I will. But the birds out there were amazing this morning, and they gave me the idea that today we're going to talk about nature. You know, I spend so much time outside and in such a place of stillness that animals gather in our space where we live, and it's really quite amazing. We have a number of bird species that come back and visit, and they're used to my presence. And they will come and they will sit on me, or they'll come take seed out of my hand, or they'll come and try and steal the seed when I'm working with it. And it truly is a miracle. And this gave me the idea, because to be honest, when I woke up a little while ago, I didn't really have a topic for this morning. And this is perfect. Nature is our healing ground. It is that space where we can return, re-energize ourselves, heal ourselves. And there are so many things that we're learning about nature at a science level. We already know that if you go into nature for a week, 1 week out in the woods, we're not talking a big fancy resort where you have Wi-Fi and internet and all those other conveniences. But when Kelly and I go away, we tend to spend a week in a cabin, a very quiet little cabin with minimal power, no toys as far as electronics go. And in that week, your immune system totally resets itself. Our places that we have in nature where we haven't covered them in concrete and built buildings and we've left the trees and forests alone, those areas will heal you. Those areas will reduce the issues you feel are blocking you from following your life. And it's amazing how nature works. And we must all take the time to find it. The advantage of, when Kelly and I first got together, going on 5.5 years ago now, the first 5 months of our lives together was incredibly hectic. Kelly had a whole bunch of stuff that needed to disappear. It needed to be let go of. And it took 5 months of hard and diligent work for us to let go of all of that. And finally, at the end of the 5 months, I was in quite a state. I hadn't been out in nature in 5 months. I was used to going out hiking almost on a daily basis. And we went out to this little lake that had a little island on it. And when I set shore on that island, I took my shoes off and my socks off, and I went tearing off into the woods. I just ran and ran and ran through the woods. And once I was out of sight of the houses at the edge of the lake and deep in the woods, I stopped and became still and listened. The voice we try to hear in our cities and in our towns and in our daily lives, wrapped up in our egoic-driven society, that voice we're always trying to hear, that quiet voice within us, speaks so loudly in the woods. so obviously, so openly. And the gift of nature is it puts us in that place to listen again. You know, if you were outside with me this morning and you would hear all the birds, it really is a cacophony of sound. Like it's not one sound, it's hundreds of different sounds. But in that noise, there is a silence. And it's a silence you can't replicate in the sounds of man and his machines. It is not silence in the way we normally think of silence. Normally, we think of silence as a cessation of noise. The silence in Mother Nature is a totally different kind of silence. It is a communication and a sound volume that speaks to you at a different level, engaging silence within you. It causes us to prick our spiritual ears up and pick up that message. So the message for today is very simple. Every day, find time to go outside. And if the weather is good enough, take your shoes off, take your socks off. Put your feet in the grass, on the ground, in a stream, in a lake. Walk along the shore if you are so fortunate. If you are stuck in a large community or large city, find the nicest park you can that's close to you and go there and find a space that speaks to you and spend some time in that space. You see, we have created all of these things, all of these buildings, all of these bridges, all of these roads and vehicles. And yet, when we drop all of that away, there is still that silence of nature. A silence that is louder sometimes than the noise that we tend to make. Allow that silence to speak to you. Today and every day, put a sticky note up somewhere. Find time to go outside and take part of nature. She's there waiting for you. It's our home. It's our natural place to exist. That's why we call it nature. Much love to you this morning. We have a great meditation coming up at 9:30 a.m. on the Help Awaken channel. We're going to do Om again. And of course, at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a great big discussion today, a really big discussion on the Awaken the World channel. We're going to cover off love. We're going to talk more about our thought processes and separating ourselves from those and learning how to observe them. And of course, I hope that you find time today to go outside, put your hands on a tree, walk in the woods, listen to the birds, and experience the gift and the healing energy that Mother Nature has waiting just for you. We'll see you soon. Namaste on this Sunday morning.